is Peter Vickery. I am a resident of Indianapolis, proud father of 6. I'm going on 7 children, and a professional violinist. I'm the assistant concertmaster of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, the largest arts organization in the state. I grew up in Indianapolis and eventually got a job here 6 years ago. As of November 2021, I have been suspended from the orchestra without pay because I am not vaccinated. After the 2020 COVID shutdown, the ISO returned to work in May of 2021, we returned to work, working for 6 weeks in the summer and continuing in the fall. Until November, unvaccinated musicians were allowed to work while following the COVID protocols the ISO had in place, which included mask when possible and twice a week COVID testing, a burden that only unvaccinated workers had to bear. Yet when November rolled around, I became too dangerous. Not because of any real COVID risk whatsoever, as I was testing twice a week, but because of a discriminatory perception of my unvaccinated status. According to the ISO, being unvaccinated posed a direct threat to my coworkers, and this threat could not be mitigated by any reasonable accommodation. This despite the fact I had worked safely for months before, was being tested twice a week, and had COVID antibodies detected in my blood in September. I requested a religious exemption from the policy, but was denied. I am currently suspended without pay and cannot even enter our building. In addition, 2 other ISO musician colleagues of mine have also been suspended for not being vaccinated, both of whom requested religious and medical exemptions, and were also fully recovered from COVID. Our livelihood has been sacrificed in order for the ISO to achieve a 100% vaccinated workforce. And as a side note, since January, in their 100% vaccinated workforce, the ISO has had 11 cases of COVID out of less than 80 musicians, and they have resumed regular asymptomatic testing. So the federal protections that are available to me right now that allow one to request religious and medical exemptions to workplace policies did not work for me or for my other 2 colleagues. The citizens of Indiana need more. We need protections against the kind of harsh discrimination I've experienced. The federal protections are not enough. And I also believe with the amendment that was just proposed, this bill is not enough as well. And I ask you to vote against it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's wait till everyone's had a chance to testify. We need to get through this, and it's going much slower than I wanted, but we'll get through it. All right, 2 quick questions. Representative Yoder, or Senator Yoder, and then Senator Burrell.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I am curious, genuinely, when you had to test, did you have to pay for those yourself? That had to have been very costly.
No, the employer was paying for them, and they also have an agreement with GenePace, a laboratory where GenePace has an office or a testing site at the Hilbert Circle Theater and then the office buildings.
So before November, when you were testing, your employer paid for those as well?
That's correct.
And the language now, does the employer continue to pay for the testing? Do we know?
It's not in the bill now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask real quickly, of the 11 folks that you work with that contracted COVID, were any of them hospitalized or did any of them die?
I don't know that information. I do know there are not deaths. There were not deaths. I know that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.